Good morning from Benchmark campsite. It's about 7:30. I've been starting to pack up and get ready to roll. Got a 7-hour drive after my 11-mile hike, and not sure how I'm going to split it up depending on what time I get out. So want to give myself time and stuff, but it's not raining, but still pretty overcast, and it's supposed to be till probably afternoon when I get off the trail. But had a peaceful night. There was some chirping animal, and I couldn't tell if it was a bird or chipmunk or something, but they were chirping all night long. So that was interesting, but the nice sound of the waves was calming. And today we're going from Benchmark all the way to the east end of Grand Sable, and so going to see some sights. I think we're going to be going up and over some dunes, seeing the log slide. Not sure I'm going to go down that because I don't know that I'd be able to get back up, but we'll see. Once again, we've got some oatmeal, some raisins, and little carnations in there, a cherry pie bar, and freeze-dried coffee. Of course, eating this cherry pie bar reminds me of the time I saw Warrant with my buddy Tim at Summerfest in Milwaukee. Good times. Pro tip that I forgot. Zip up your tent when you're going to eat breakfast, because the chipmunks will try and get in. So despite my best efforts, still have a bit of sand in the tent. So if there are any pro tips for camping in sand and sand management, I'd love to hear them. So I noticed yesterday that I'm starting to get a hot spot on my finger, so I'm going to throw some rock tape on and try and keep that from getting worse. So I'm pretty much packed up. Had some good lessons just now that I was kind of wanting to rush and get going, and had the pack all rolled up and ready to go, and looked, and of course the ground sheet and the clothesline were still sitting there. And so just a reminder to take a deep breath and slow down and make sure you got everything, and you'll get there when you get there. In one of my earlier videos, I talked about remembering Thursdays, which was something my dad taught to me because his dad taught it to him. His dad taught it to him about driving a motorboat and how you learn how to do it on Monday and you start getting more confident, and on Thursday you think you can do whatever you want and you end up having an accident. And well, it's Thursday, so I'm keeping that in mind as I continue onward toward the finish, that I can't get overly confident. The roots are still wet and slippery, and I have to be careful. So the trail was a little different from Benchmark to Hurricane River. A lot more routes, but and ups and downs, and more roller coaster like, which was kind of nice to break things up and not be totally flat. So it was kind of fun, and beautiful forest to hike through. Don't even think about it. So coming through Hurricane River Campground, ran into a couple westbound hikers. One is Flute Journey, so I'm gonna have to check out her channel. She does nature music and stuff, and so excited to learn about that. And they are from Missouri and up here, and I think they're gonna have some good weather, so hope you have a great hike. Take care. So it's important not to get run over by the propane delivery truck. One of the hazards of road walking. So if I had been smart and known that the lighthouse did not have fresh water, I would have stopped at Hurricane River, filled up my water, and that I was able to get rid of my trash there, but thought that there would be water at Sable. So I'm stopping here at East Sable to filter one last time for the final part of the trip. So it's been 2 hours. I've gone about 4.2 miles, so around the 2 mile an hour pace, but gotta keep her moving. And there is a campsite coming up. I think I'll stop there quick for lunch and then try and make it to the car. So about 7 miles left in this trip, and my mind is thinking about getting the car, freshening up, and starting the long drive back. And realizing just now as I was walking on that boardwalk that I really need to pause and take it in and just enjoy the journey, because it is beautiful and I won't be here for a while. And so rather than think about what is to come, be in the moment. Well, it's definitely the longest climb on this whole trip. And I've done 35 miles at this point, and but it was worth it to see that beautiful cedar. And now it's flattened out a bit, so onward we go. Guess we have more climbing to do. Gonna take a hard pass on climbing up the log slide, but might take advantage of the water and restroom and take a little break. Looks like from the sign I've got 5.6 to the car. So log slide has fresh water and a vault toilet, so took advantage of those, and gonna grab nice picnic tables here, so gonna grab some lunch and then head out. It's been about 3 hours on trail. Gaia says I've done 6.3. I think it's a little less than that maybe, but I guess it's 5.8 that I have to get to Grand Sable. So gonna grab a bite to eat and then keep on going. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. Made it to the turnout for the Massey Homestead, which is the last campground heading in the easterly direction within Pictured Rocks on the North Country Trail. So a few more miles to go. Definitely seeing signs of fall. So the last 3 miles since the log slide has been relatively flat. There was one significant up, but walking through this beautiful poplar and maple forest with very little undergrowth. Now it's getting a little more dense, but it was just beautiful. You could see a long ways, and the bears could see me coming. So made for just a lovely walk. So I've almost covered the last hour 3 miles and making good progress. But my legs are a little tired, and I'm getting close to being ready to be done. So definitely a roller coaster of a trail here along Grand Sable, but just beautiful, very tranquil, and a nice way to finish things off. I guess another advantage of the Blaze Orange is that cars can see me on this road walk, as it's pretty windy, but it's beautiful. Car's still there. I can make it home. So this is a Nice map showing where we started today. Started at Benchmark, got up, had fun at Hurricane. This was mostly a road to Sable and down east, and got to see the log slide along Grand Sable Lake and to the finish. Wow, what a great day. The sun came out, it's just beautiful. I'm kind of glad now that the sun was not out most of the trip, because it would have been a lot different, a lot hotter, needing to go through more water. So having the cloud cover and cool breezes was kind of a nice treat. I think overall it was a great trip. Definitely one I'd recommend if you haven't done it. It's 4-5 days max, 42 miles, relatively flat, amazing views, and yeah, overall it was just a fantastic trip. I learned a lot, learned how to set up my tent better. Learned how to Hey, so funny story. When the GPS beeped, I must have hit the button and stopped recording. Probably talked for another 2-3 minutes and talking about all the learnings. So I'll try and recap that. So I just talked about how I gotten help getting some good tips on setting up the Durston tent with a better pitch, and that worked really well. I loved the different variations in the trail at Pictured Rocks. I think if you're planning to go and you heard me talk about how flat it was on the third day, just know that at the start and the end, on each end, it's a little hillier. Nothing too out of the ordinary, but definitely something to keep track of. The other things, definitely check out the log slide, but highly recommend not going down it. If you're going for fall colors, maybe pick closer to the 1st of October. It seemed as though it was starting to turn the second to last week in September, but not quite as spectacular colors maybe a week or two later. Going in either direction can work, but definitely because of the campsite reservations that you have to do, make sure that you do that well in advance. I was only a couple weeks, and so was kind of limited on what my options were, and that's why I went west to east instead of east to west. But definitely a trip and a place that I want to go back to. Just beautiful area, and the campsites are really well maintained, and so just what a wonderful trip. And so with that, thanks so much for watching all the way through, and keep on learning. We'll see you down the trail.